Paul Revere was most known for his famous midnight ride, but he had a much larger contribution to the American Revolution than this single incident. He was born on a cold winter day in Boston, Massachusetts, New Year's Day in 1735. His father, born Apollos Revere, changed his name to the more American-oriented Paul Revere and married Deborah Hitchborn. In total, they had 12 children, and Paul Revere was the third eldest of them. Revere's apprenticeship under his father's practice as a silversmith allowed him to gain connections within the Boston community that would play a large role in the Revolution. Unfortunately, his father passed away at the age of 52, when Revere was at the age of 19, which would have left the majority of his father's estate to him. The problem was that he was not of legal age to claim this estate at the time, so he was unable to take control of his family's silver business. This put him in a predicament in which he was unable to make consistent money. Because of this, he began to be pulled toward joining the French and Indian War. Inevitably, he did join in February of 1756. He served shortly as a second lieutenant in the Provincial Army regime. After his release, Revere returned to Boston to maintain the family's silver business.
In 1765, he also joined the revolutionary group, the Sons of Liberty. With influence from the Sons of Liberty in his craft of being a silversmith, Paul Revere created his most well-known piece during the Revolution. This piece was a recreation of the drawing of the Boston Massacre by Henry Pelham that Revere etched into copper. It became the greatest propaganda portrait during the time. It inaccurately portrayed the British soldiers in an organized line firing upon unarmed civilians. Because of this exaggerated portrayal of the event, a lot of neutral colonists began to align themselves with revolutionary ideals.
After further implementation of taxes on the colonists by the British, Paul Revere became a large factor in the Boston Tea Party as one of the head leaders of the Sons of Liberty. This revolutionary group led an act of defiance against the British by rallying an assembly of people in the Boston harbor dressed as Native Americans. In all, they dumped 342 chests of tea into the harbor. Even though Revere was just another member in the crowd, he was one of the few identified after the event. Little by little, he was becoming increasingly involved in the cause. An average man was molded into one of the most remembered heroes of the American Revolution.
Revere's role in the Revolution came to a climax with his participation in the Midnight Ride. On the night of April 18, 1775, Paul Revere rode out to warn Samuel Adams that the British were marching to confiscate arms that could be used in the resistance. Revere and a group of men wanting independence spied on the British and learned that they had begun preparing to put down any resistance to British will.
He learned that the British were planning on attacking the Minutemen in Lexington and Concord, and that same night rode to warn the people. He was joined by William Dawes and Samuel Prescott in this ride. Contrary to popular belief, Paul Revere was not announcing that the Redcoats are coming during his midnight ride. He was warning those along the way, especially the Minutemen, that the regulars are out. Paul Revere left Boston by crossing the Charles River. During his journey, he was caught by British soldiers. They did not harm him, but they did take his horse. This act did not become famous during Revere's life. In fact, it wasn't until Henry Wadsworth Longfellow's poem, Paul Revere's Ride, that Revere's place in history was cemented. This poem glorifies Revere for his heroic act.
Revere's military role in the American Revolution began in 1776. He joined the Massachusetts Infantry as a major and later transferred to artillery, where he was promoted to lieutenant colonel. By 1778, Revere moved to the commander of Castle Island in Boston Harbor and was responsible for 3 artillery companies. He soon became a part of an operation with the Massachusetts military that was planning to attack Penobscot Bay, Maine, where a British base was located. American forces attacked on July 28, 1779, yet their mission was unsuccessful due to poor communication amongst leaders and a lack of preparation as a whole. As a result of this incident, Revere was court-martialed and eventually discharged by the militia due to cowardice and disobedience. He was placed on house arrest and fought the charges but was unsuccessful until 1782, when he was able to present his case to the military. Along with his role as a military leader, Paul Revere contributed to the war efforts by using his trade as a silversmith and artisan. With permission from the Massachusetts Provincial Congress, Revere was able to have a gunpowder mill at Canton. He there learned to make gunpowder and played a large role in the American Revolution. Another notable benefactor in Revere's revolutionary success was his selection to create the first continental currency. This was the first colonial paper currency distributed. He was later asked to construct the first authentic seal for America and the state of Massachusetts. After the war, he returned to metalwork, making bells for churches in the surrounding area and metal bottoms in military ships. He died after long-term illness, a very wealthy man, on May 10, 1818.